Hey guys, this is Gambital here, posting the first ever Duelyst video that I will be releasing. I just wanted to make this video real quick for those of you who are struggling to defeat the almighty Megapenti, as it is the Super Saiyan version, so to speak, of the meme card Serpentai. Now, what makes this guy so difficult is that he is a 440 general that starts the game with a Serpentai right behind him. Some quick little tips to help out your decks in general. I'm gonna go over neutral options that are very good against Serpentai, and then I'll go over each faction and point out some star cards that really shine against this guy. So we're gonna start out with neutrals. First one I'd like to point out is the Sinister Silhouette. Now, you might be thinking this is a strange one, but here in this clip, I'll demonstrate why this card is very strong. And it's because of a bug that interacts with the AI. But anyways, if he doesn't have a silence, and you place a Sinister Silhouette in front of him, he will just stand there and not move at all. And every minion he plays will be played around your Sinister Silhouette, and they will not move. They will just stand there and attempt to attack the silhouette, I believe, but can't, so they're just stuck there. Now, as soon as the opponent does draw a way to silence your Sinister Silhouette, they will do so. Then moving on to some other options that are perhaps less cheesy as this. We have the Wild Tar, which is the board guy. It's a 2/4 Frenzy. This is just a really powerful minion, especially if your Kaliosin can blink this in position. A lot of stuff with Frenzy, like Mechanta Warbies for instance, and 4 more attack are just very good in general against the amount of Serpentine, just helping with clearing eggs. Speaking of clearing eggs, you'll want some ping effects perhaps in your list, like maybe you want Blood Tear Alchemist, or the Blistering Scorn is very good at clearing eggs if you need to in a pinch. Something to note is the silence does not actually prevent the boss's passive ability of making a minion spawn an egg, so you'll need to resort to pinging off and killing things. That being said, as you play through the boss, I advise if you cannot deal with the Serpentai egg, it's better to not kill the minion at all. Now let's start with Vetruvian real quick. The main minion that I've seen perform well is the Lava Storm Obelisk, and this is simply because the AI will not play around the Lava Storm's effect of dealing 6 damage to all minions in a row. So if you just kind of get their minions to conga line into a row with Lava Storm Obelisk, you'll have an easy time dealing with this boss battle. And Obelisk in general tend to be very good against this guy as long as you can protect him from the Ephemeral Shrouds. Another good card that I would just throw in, and in any Vetruvian deck for that matter, is Faustus. It'll help you clear out some Serpentai or whatever minion you need to deal with. The next faction I'd like to discuss is Lyonar. And most of what I would seem to be effective for Lyonar is the Lyonar package with the Sunforged Lancer, Holy Immolation, and just a bunch of heal effects. You can use the, I believe it's like an 8 mana 6/6 called Excelsius that gets buffed every time you heal something. Is really powerful if you can get it to stick after getting his silences out of the way. There's also the artifact way you could go. Lyonar can sort of get away with it, I believe, a little bit better than Vetruvian because they have more artifacts that are threatening. Like, they have the classic Arclight Regalia, which is very good. And then they have, if you can get out his artifact removal, Dawn's Eye, I believe. It's a great way to sort of cheese out a win against this boss. Outside of that, just the general Lyonar good stuff, classic Argeon, sort of play a Giant Provoke, and Divine Bond it could also work. You could use the Dagger Kiri, I believe that's what it's called. It's the 2/8 with Celerity, where you just kind of buff up its health and then give it Divine Bond and just punch a Megapenti in the face for a ton of damage. Then we have Songhai. Songhai's a little bit tricky as they tend to play against opponents with 25 health, whereas this one has 40, so you're looking to build a deck that's more about sustaining damage rather than bursting them as fast as possible. Now, Songhai has access to Heartseekers, which are very good at killing off eggs, and against AI, it's things in general that you set down and if left unanswered generate a lot of value are very powerful against AI opponents who don't respect things like Heartseekers a lot, especially if you have minions with X effects like, I don't know, a Lantern Fox or a Battle Pando that can bait out silences. They generally will ignore the 1/1 range minions, and that alone can generate you a lot of value. Bear Seal effects, like comboing Pandemonium with Chain Lightning if you have that package, or just Onyx Bear Seal, and the new legendary minion Eternity Painter tend to be good in this boss battle because spawning a Serpentii egg will not be a thing to worry about if you just transform him into a cute little pando. And aside from that, just buffing range minions, like with Deathstrike Seal or perhaps a Killing Edge, is very good against this boss if you can get out the silences. So that's what I've seen be effective for the most part if you want to go with the Songhai to defeat this boss. Now Vanar, I believe, is perhaps one of the easier factions to use against this boss, simply because of some of the new rares are very good against the Megapenti. You have the new Sentinel Drake Dowager, which is the Sentinel whenever the enemy general attacks, it flips over into this 1/3 range unit that whenever it does attack, it spawns a 4/4 flying Drake, and if this is left unanswered, it will just win you the game on its own. Some good support cards for this kind of thing is like the wall cards like Gravity Well and the new Luminous Charge, the 0/1 walls that explode whenever they're destroyed. Very good against the AI, just surround him in a bunch of these walls and he'll be taking a lot of damage along with his minions. And then there is the Sleep Dasher. It is a 4 mana 3/6 that whenever it destroys a unit, it reactivates itself and gets to move again. And this minion is just great if you can kill multiple things. In this boss battle, whenever you kill something, it leaves behind a Serpentii egg, and you get to kill that egg for free with Sleep Dasher and keep on moving. It's a very powerful unit against the minions and for trading in general in this boss battle. Then we have the Magmar faction. Magmar, I can't say I have too much experience with, but in general, big things that generate bodies, like the Silthar Elder, which just kind of drops eggs of itself every turn, or the Golem card Juggernaut, if you can live long enough to actually ramp it out. Another way that I think you could easily pull off and win this boss battle is if you have a good Pokehorn deck where you have a bunch of small swarmy creatures and battle pets, and you use Godhammer to just snowball the board, grow it, and just overwhelm the AI. And then last but not least is Abyssian. From what I've noticed, Swarm in general works against a lot of the bosses that Duelyst has given or thrown at us, because putting down a Blood Moon Priestess and the Shadow Dancer, the 5 mana 4/4 that whenever something dies, the enemy general loses health and you gain a health, and just throwing tons of Wraithlings at them over and over until they die is been very tried and true against a lot of bosses. But this one in particular, you just have to deal with 6 silences and then you're good. And the boss obviously doesn't always have these 6 silences. So things to note from this: the Megapenti is a 440 general. You don't want to put too much card draw on your deck, as it will use things like the Magmar card that deals 3 to both you and himself and draws you 3. He uses Spelljammers. You'll end up getting a lot of card draw from this guy. Oh, and also Entropic Gaze, I believe, is the card where he just cycles for both players and you take 2 damage. So you really don't want to put too much card draw. If you have a deck that has cards stuck in your hand, it won't work all that well and you'll be missing out on a lot of draw value. So you want a deck that can really lay down its resources and get an engine of some sort rolling. Like most Arcanist decks in general, if you can stick an Albi Sage and a Prismatic Illusionist, you'll pretty much win that game if he cannot deal with it, because the Albi Sage will just grow your Arcanist to be too big to deal with. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Good luck in trying to defeat Megapenti, and I'll see you next time.